Oh my goodness, folks, what's up? How's everybody doing? Happy Friday, finally Friday. Hope your week has been well. Mine's been crazy. Trying to wrap up November, get December started, my final exams. I've been kind of out of the picture, if you will, for YouTube. I changed my format up just a little bit on my other platforms and took a break from YouTube just to kind of change some things up. Changed night jobs too, still on the graveyard shift for sure in the wee hours, but had to make some changes. But I'm back at it now, and I'll have a two-part question tonight just to get everybody caught up. We'll do the previous trivia question, which I think was way back from the 21st or something to that effect, and then I'll have another trivia question to get us up to date. I hope everything has been good, like I said. So without further ado, oh man, it's been busy. It's already December, man. We're working on Christmas. That's pretty cool. But anyways, happy Friday. The answer to the previous trivia question was, of course, the iconic soap opera Dallas and the evil character J.R. Ewing. Dallas stayed on for 14 seasons, folks. It was like the king of the cliffhangers. Great show. Cheeseball, yes, but it's still a great show. Kept everybody hanging on for 14 long seasons, and it had like a revision of sorts in 2012, I think. 2 movies came with it as well. Dallas, of course, was the story of the Ewing family and their oil empire, run by none other than the evil character, Mr. J.R. Ewing. In the final scene of the 3rd season, which was in 1980, J.R. Ewing hears a noise outside his office, walks out to the corridor, and of course is shot by an unseen assailant. He was shot twice. Viewers had to wait all summer to learn whether JR would survive and which of his many enemies was responsible. He had pretty much PO'd everybody on the face of the earth up until that point for the first 3 seasons. So this was kind of a culmination and a climax of sorts of everybody who was out to get JR. The rest is history, as they say, because this became one of the biggest cliffhangers ever to be put together on a television series. It was really genius marketing is what it amounted to. And the cliffhanger was born. It took off in a big, huge way. It was a shot literally heard around the world, and it soon became the #1 most anticipated plot twisters of all time. It really is still considered as much, even to this day. The media hype behind the mystery was like nothing anyone had ever seen, and it kind of took over the summer of 1980. Merchandise actually surfaced all over to include T-shirts, buttons, coffee mugs. I actually have a collector's item of an old bourbon canister of J.R. Ewing that plays the Dallas theme song. It's a limited edition. I didn't pay that much for it, but it was a collector's item, and I love Dallas, and I love the character J.R. Ewing. But that was just kind of some of the merchandise that surfaced. International odds makers created a set of odds for the possible culprits. You can look this stuff up, folks. Every actor and crew member, even Larry Hagman himself, had to be filmed subsequent to this, shooting JR just to keep the secret identity of the actual shooter. So this was all the hype that went into it. Okay, politicians and world leaders, including Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of England, got caught up in trying to figure out who shot JR. That's a very famous interview when Larry Hagman went over to England that summer. Queen Elizabeth was trying to get that out of him, and of course he wouldn't reveal it. The famous episode was spoofed multiple times in too many programs to mention. SNL, of course, and on throughout the years. Who Shot JR became an advertising campaign and a catchphrase that the producers in the CBS network created that very soon became a global phenomenon, to say the very least. Who Shot JR went around the world, folks, and then back again. The catchphrase still has a strong legacy that stands the test of time. If you say Who Shot JR, you know you're talking about Dallas, you know you're talking about J.R. Ewing, you know you're talking about the summer of 1980. It stood the test of time in pop and soap opera culture today, and the format helped popularize and really create and really establish the cliffhanger ending for television series and soaps in particular, without question. So, who in fact did shoot JR? If you don't know the answer to this question, it was Kristen Shepard, the character Kristen Shepard, who was introduced, I think, in the end of the 1st season throughout the 2nd season. Anyways, she was Sue Ellen's wife, Sue Ellen's sister, rather. Now, you keep up with this, right? You got to keep up with all this. Kristen Shepard was Sue Ellen's sister. Sue Ellen was the wife of JR. Kristen was having had a previous affair, was probably still having an affair, if my memory serves me correctly, with JR, and she was now pregnant, right? But she was sleeping around with everybody, was everybody on Dallas for that matter, and probably sleeping with JR. No one knew who the father was. She thought the father was JR, and she knew JR had decided, like he had many times in the series, to go back to Sue Ellen, even though Sue Ellen was drinking very heavily. Now, and she was upset about that, so she shot him, right? The mystery, did you get all that? Were you taking notes? The mystery was not resolved until the 4th episode of the 4th season, entitled Who Done It, which aired 8 long months later. So this was a very cleverly crafted and scientifically put together cliffhanger, folks, that lasted a long time. And like I said, the whole world got caught up. There was an estimated 83 million American viewers tuning in, making Dallas and the Who Shot JR episode one of the most watched television broadcasts of all time. And I believe they still hold that record, and that's pretty sustainable all the way from 1980. A couple of cool geek factoids. In addition to helping popularize the practice of ending a television series with a cliffhanger, which, by the way, after the 1980 series, every single episode of Dallas ended in a cliffhanger, right? So the episode is also credited with helping CNN, which began airing in June of 1980, to get off the ground. Of course, it could be because they were a brand new news station on 24 hours, and they needed something to report on. It was breaking news. Of course, now everything is breaking news. Even if it rains, it's breaking news. But that is also a pretty cool geek factoid. In Larry Hagman's final episode of the 2012 sequel and revision, Dallas, which aired on March 4th of 2003, JR was shot again. And I did not know that. This time it ended in his fatality. He was killed in 2013. He was killed off of the program. Imagine that. And in addition, a little some other, you may have heard of this before, after 1980, and because of how popular Dallas became, Larry Hagman, who played JR, was strategic in organizing negotiations for larger contracts and for larger money for the entire staff. And that's really how that was all born out as well. So he set the standard for that because of this famous episode in Dallas and JR Union. And like I said, folks, I got all 14 episodes of this, all series, on DVD if you ever want to borrow any. Just let me know. I got both of the movies, too. All right, folks, let's get back up to date. Well, actually, we're still a day behind, but I'm going to get you back up to date with a 2-part series. Let's finish our part 1 with a brand new trivia question for December 1st on this day in 1824, as no presidential candidate had received the majority of the total electoral votes. In the election of that year, Congress decided to turn over the presidential election to the House of Representatives, and they did so as dictated by this amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Good luck, folks. I'll see you in just a bit with yet another trivia question to get our weekend started. Have a good Friday. Peace out.